Ferme.
Non.
Monsieur Lalonde, voulez-vous vous retirer, s'il vous plaît?
C'est la marche des cravates. Je me sens comme
On ouvre la réunion à 9h15.
Finalement, je voulais juste revenir sur l'item 11.8. Il semble que tout semble correct pour l'adopter ce soir. Fait que si on pouvait le relire, ça serait grandement apprécié pour faire avancer les choses.
Là, je peux partir?
Oui.
Seconder pour ouvrir la réunion, un secondaire.
Oui.
Monsieur Zan, tout le monde en faveur?
Oui.
Bonsoir, Monsieur Lalonde.
Item 11.8. Oups, je suis en anglais, puis ça, je suis vraiment pas bon pour lire l'anglais. Je sais pas s'il y a quelqu'un qui est plus vite que
Bon
moi.
français?
Non, je...
C'est soit résolu que le règlement 2017, c'est le 93, le règlement pour autoriser le maire et le glacial à déployer un contrat à signer construction limitée pour compléter les travaux de drainage sur la rue Céline au montant de 178 223,67 excluant la TVH et qu'il soit aussi résolu que le financement pour ce projet soit obtenu par le dépôt de performance et la lettre de crédit de 45 650 ainsi que 155 534 provenant de la réserve de stabilisation du taux d'imposition.
Secondé. Monsieur Berlinguette. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. On va ramener M. Lalonde. On referme la régulière à 9h. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci.
C'est calme les directeurs, s'il vous plaît.
Ouverture de la réunion plénière à 9h18. Adoption de l'ordre du jour.
Que l'ordre du jour soit adopté tel que présenté.
Secondé. Madame Simard, qui pourra y aller l'autre jour.
Correct. Question, M. le maire?
Sur l'adoption,
Oui, sur l'agenda. Je vois 9.8 et 10.1. Je ne sais pas s'il n'y a pas... 9.8 nous dit la stratégie d'implantation et du timing pour le master plan. Puis l'autre, establishment of a date for a special meeting to discuss the fire master plan. Est-ce
et les
que...
casernes.
And fire station. Est-ce que 10.1 ne devrait pas être discuté avant de parler de 9.8? Je suis juste pas sûr que je comprends.
Oui, je veux savoir.
Madame Collier.
So 9.5, 6, 7, and 8 are all items that have been tabled with you tonight. So that you have the reports and that they're going, you can ask questions on the reports. They'll be coming back to you for approval in August. So those reports in particular are going to be tabled. The discussion around setting a date, I don't think has any bearing on the report itself.
Well, the thing is,
Well, if
right
we
now
need to
we're
discuss
August.
about the fire master plan, therefore
Right.
it could change the strategy and the timing
On the
for it.
date, okay?
Right?
Mhm.
Unless I don't understand, that's why I'm questioning, shouldn't we?
I thought we were waiting to see for counties the answer on that, and I thought that was why we were doing the special meeting.
No, well, the fire service master plan is a very detailed list of
Mhm.
all the 44 items
Yeah,
that
yeah.
were left, right?
That's right.
And so,
Because 10.1 says we're supposed to discuss the fire master plan and the fire station,
we,
For a special meeting in August.
right,
and then,
Établissement d'une date.
we're just
10.1.
picking the date.
huh?
Établissement d'une date, là, 10.1.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about it at 9.8, then we establish a date to talk about it? I'm not sure I
No, but
understand.
that's what I'm trying to say, we've tabled it with you.
C'est juste le recevoir.
You can discuss it if
Just
you
to
want
receive it.
tonight.
It's just to receive it?
On prend pas de décision.
And that's
on
what
va-
it says.
c'est juste-
Okay,
It's so that you have the information and you'll
c'est
have it
tenu.
well in advance and having the separate meeting to discuss it.
all right, if everybody knows what's going on.
Mais la décision va être prise, mais qu'on vienne pour le 9.
Sounds good. Merci.
Parce que pour le 2, il n'y a personne, il y avait des problèmes pour arriver. Tout le monde en vacances.
Merci.
Autre chose à propos de l'adoption? Merci. Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Intérêt plénière? Aucune. Merci. Délégation? Aucune. Pétition? Oh, pétition. Médaille du mérite civique de l'Ontario. Vous avez vu la forme?
Mhm.
Monsieur Boucher, avez-vous quelque chose à dire là-dessus? Non, votre département.
C'est pour votre information.
L'information.
Je suis déposé en filiale chez nous.
Oui. Avis de motion, aucune. Période de questions, si quelqu'un qui a des questions, des commentaires à faire, c'est le temps de le faire. Aucune. Merci. Rapport du comité des comptes et judices de Prescott Russell. Vous avez pas entendu parler de la fameuse cimenterie. Comme vous le savez, c'était pour un changement au plan officiel. Ça a été voté la semaine passée, mercredi passé. Ça l'a passé. J'étais un de ceux qui ont voté pour. Ils vont me dire pourquoi. Parce que les informations qui avaient été données par M. Prévost avaient toutes révisées. M. Prévost recommandait le projet parce qu'il allait selon toutes les lois demandées par la province et les provincial principles. Et puis, en allant contre sa décision, on devait aller à Camo. Camo nous a écouté pour descendre de parce que à ce point-là, M. Prévost devenait un témoin contenu. Et puis là, il fallait engager un autre journaliste, un autre avocat, toute la kit. Ça faisait du bon sens d'aller d'avant. Et en même temps, Champlain s'en va déjà à Camo pour le même projet. Alors, pourquoi avoir deux qui s'en vont à Camo pour la même raison? Et puis l'autre chose, c'est que c'est un investissement de 200 à 300 millions. Les études qui ont été faites sont toutes selon la province. Et puis, que ce soit l'eau, que ce soit le bruit, le chemin, tout passé. Et puis la majorité passée, c'était 5 municipalités qui ont voté contre, Paco, et 3 municipalités qui ont voté contre. Alors, c'est à peu près le résumé. C'est quelque chose que si Action Champlain décide qu'ils ne sont pas décidés d'accepter cette décision, ils peuvent aller à Camo aux autres mêmes. Dans ce cas-là, M. Prévost va le représenter et les coûts sont minimes. S'il y a des questions, je suis ouvert aux questions. M. Leland.
Question, oui, concernant, est-ce que les comtés ont pris une position sur le proposé de le mot concernant l'addition de 1% sur la TVA?
Oui, c'est apporté. Comme ils ont dit, on ne veut pas que ce soit les municipalités qui sont obligées de l'imposer. Ils veulent que ce soit la province ou le fédéral qui l'impose. Moi, j'ai dit que j'aimerais mieux voir que 1% du déjà HST qui est là soit remis aux municipalités. Pas remonter encore des taxes, on paye assez de taxes comme c'est là.
Le montant qu'ils vont collecter du 1% retourne au complet aux municipalités.
Oui. Alors, ça va être envoyé à nous.
C'est bon.
Parce que selon l'alimentation qu'on a, je pense que tu as reçu,
Oui.
c'est au-dessus de 3 millions de dollars que la cité pourrait avoir ça fait du bien un budget annuel, c'est 3,5 millions.
Mais l'affaire, c'est que l'argent irait, puisqu'on est 2 tiers, ça irait compter, puis compter distribué.
Non, mais j'avais compris, c'était 5 millions comptés, puis 3 à nous.
C'est ça. Ouais, mais l'affaire, l'argent irait pour compter premier, c'est le comté qui dit, si je me rappelle bien, c'est le comté qui distribuerait après. Autre question? Rapport. Programme de traitement de surface, chemin Labelle. Monsieur Levert.
Soit résolu que le comité plénière et le Conseil appuie la recommandation du département de considérer les travaux de surface de la ville.
Pouvez-vous le dire en anglais, s'il vous plaît?
Oui, absolument.
Une chose qui est ici.
Be it resolved that the committee of the whole recommends that council supports the department's recommendation to consider the resurfacing of La Belle Road as part of the 2018 budget deliberation process.
Secondant. Madame Question? Everybody in favor? Thank you. There you go.
Ça va être.
Travaux de réparation sur le chemin de la Casse, ça a l'air qu'on va effacer. We're going to take la Casse off the map. That way we don't have to repair it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Monsieur Lalonde, je vous laisse celle-là.
Be it resolved that the committee of the whole recommend that council adopt a bylaw to authorize a transfer of $75,000 from the roads reserve to the road repair operations.
Secondé, M. Zat, question? Can you give an update, Mr. Darts, please?
Yeah, I think it better on this one.
I
When
got
we,
two ladies over there look pretty vicious, they'll be coming at us.
okay. When we prepared this report, we took a stab at what we thought the scope of work was going to be and the cost. But we did that without having the benefit of Stantec's report. And they were the consulting firm we retained to do geotechnical analysis and to bring back a recommendation and a cost. I don't know quite how to say this, but the costs have somewhat escalated. We were talking with Stantec today, and there's a slope stability failure that's going to require a surcharging at the toe of the slope or flattening it out considerably on the east side of LaBelle Road. All of which to say is going to, Lacasse, sorry, it's going to be an expensive undertaking, and the preliminary numbers we're getting is 600,000, 800,000. So it's considerably more than what you're looking at now. Now, they have not provided us with the detailed breakdown and the costing. We've asked for that. We'll have to bring a full report back for council's consideration in August. So this is not a cheap undertaking. And so it's significant. I think it's probably significant enough that at the end of the day, we're probably going to be recommending this be considered as part of the 2018 budget deliberations unless there's a real move to want to affect the improvement works this year. I think the reparation works are going to require acquisition of property. You're not going to be able to do it within the current right-of-way because there's quite a slope. So it's a significant input, cost, and it shocked us, but that's what we're hearing from our consultant. So I need the detailed report. I need to challenge on the scope of the work. And I guess we will be looking at options here. There's at least two options in terms of remediation of the slope stability. I know we've considered other ones, but we would give council a full report, and I think it's got to come back in August. I wish I were the bearer of better news, but that's
75,000. Now we're up to 60 to 75,000.
Missing is zero.
Yeah.
But I guess in fairness to the department, we just put numbers in so that we could get the report on the agenda, and we didn't have any information from our consultant at the time, and we were pushing hard for that. And we got that today. I was in a telephone conversation with them, and they're saying that's the amount. That's a substantial work. There's a number of options we can look at, but that's a big ticket item.
Mr. Darch, we discussed this at 4 o'clock, you and I, and Mr. Bissett and Mr. Campbell. When we get the full report, we're also due to communicate with all the landowners.
Yes.
With a specific letter detailing and inviting them to the next council meeting or whenever the report will be prepared.
Yeah.
To really tell them exactly what's going on, because this is, like you said, this is a huge undertaking. It's a huge issue for the city. It will require some time, but people need to be kept up to date as to what is going on. I've also received an email today from a resident stating that the operations that were done under Mr. Roussel's division of dust suppressant were not done on that house. Okay. So I have yet to hear back from Mr. Roussel to see if it's just a work in progress type deal. I know there's barricades and such, but I think, especially if this is going to be a long undertaking, we can't have the residents of that house be subjected to all the dust from the farming and all the traffic. So even though the road is literally split into right now.
We have a tank on one of our own trucks, don't we?
I can accelerate that just to make sure that gets done.
Yeah.
Because I know the last meeting of council, can't recall the name of the lady, but there was a concern about the detour and difficulties with emergency vehicles accessing whatever residence they want. We're going to be affecting detour improvement works there. And that'll happen now, and we'll make sure that emergency services are continuously updated. But I don't think this is going to be a quick turnaround just by virtue of the scope of the work and the cost of the work. So
You're also gonna have to look into, if this more than likely will creep into winter, your winter operations will be affected as well, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna turn that grader on
Yeah.
time, so
yeah.
we need to prepare for that if that's where
Yeah.
we're gonna be heading.
So we'll bring the consultant's report and with options and recommendations for your consideration in August.
A letter to the residents will start.
I guess we'll defer this to the next meeting when we get the reports.
Yep.
We have to vote.
Mhm.
Mr. Mayor, one of the residents would like to ask a question.
Yes.
If that's possible.
Okay, sorry, my name is Mike here, I live at 236 Park House. I just want to ask,
Yeah.
thank you for the report. My name is Mike here, I live at 1236 Park House. And my brother and sister-in-law live at 1240, so we're basically at the end of the road, basically,
Yeah.
off the road. Okay, I was happy to see that the fire truck came in over last week to see exactly where it was. My question is to you, you said you're flattening out something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Are you flattening out the first hill, the second hill, or you're building up?
No, what I'm talking about is the cross-section of that road, on the east side of the road, there's quite a drop-off where the failure, the
embankment.
shear, so it's the embankment. So
Okay.
what we're hearing from the consultant, there's two ways of handling that. You can surcharge the slope, which would mean creating a berm, and then you can go with a steeper grade.
Okay.
Or you can do a much gradual grade, a more gradual
Okay.
grade, and that goes deeper into the
So basically,
into
you're
the
filling out the
lands.
hole.
Either way,
Either going east and going,
yeah. But either way, it's gonna require property acquisition. So the fix on this is, the cost is significant,
Yeah.
but you also have to get into land negotiations, and so we'd have to kickstart that quickly. I guess what I'm thinking here, it's certainly dependent on what council supports it in August, but more than likely, this project's not gonna get started this year. We're gonna have to get into land negotiations, there's the whole budget issue.
We don't have,
Okay.
we don't have the budget for that.
following this. I asked the council, what's your plan for this winter?
What's my what?
Your plan for this winter, where we're gonna put the snow?
Well, we're gonna have to figure out to make a roundabout at the end, that's all there is to it.
We would have to take a look. There's different options again about how you're gonna plow up to that, how you remove it. And that would be part of the report that we would bring forward. I
just want to bring it up, so
No,
it's there in the minutes, and,
yeah.
Because like we said, there's no money in the budget for it. There's a good chance it won't be open this winter. So they will have to figure out how to allow to get around, who's gonna go to do it. It'll be figured out before the snow comes.
yeah, that basically does want to make sure that it's in there, and,
We will want to talk to some of the property owners close to the closure,
we are.
because you're gonna be one of them. And the reason I say
No,
that,
it's all-
one of.
Basically, it's all, if you go on the west side, it basically, it's 11
Yeah.
feet we have.
One of the options though for snow closure, and we've done this before with the consent of the property owner, can the city vehicle back in slightly into an access and then come out?
You do that right now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, but we would want to do it with the homeowner's concern. They may say, sure, providing you, if there's any damage, that it's repaired. So we need to get into some negotiations here, and that'll all form part of our
That's
report.
correct, because my wife mentioned 2 weeks ago that was the case, that the dump truck coming in, they're backing up in the driveway. The transport comes in and for delivery, they don't know where it's finished, so they come in and the full big
Yeah.
load tractor trailer, they back up in the driveway. Okay, I have to admit that I called Mr. Roussel one day and said, listen, it says, my driveway is getting way back.
Yeah,
Okay, and they came and fixed it up, and put loads of fresh stone on it. Okay, but they-
I think that's something we would want to negotiate with the owner. If there's an interim, let's say, workaround to deal with winter control, and even just on the interim until we can get the works done.
Well, maybe you could go around his driveway, go around mine, and go back the other way, so I don't have to plow mine. Well, winter.
Or get up to your driveway. I mean, think about
We have a U there, so.
yeah.
We'll kind of compromise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It also affects the garbage collection, recycling.
Yep.
So, you know, a lot of heavy trucks, so,
Yeah.
It'll be looked into.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Installation d'une fontaine et d'un banc sur la rue Saint-Joseph. Monsieur Lalonde?
Qu'il soit résolu que le comité plénière recommande que le Conseil autorise l'installation d'une fontaine d'eau et d'un banc de parc dans la parquette de la rue Saint-Joseph en face de l'école Sainte-Trinité.
Selon les.
Question?
Oui.
Suzanne?
Mr. Darch, does this fall under you or who's?
Yeah, I'm the author.
So, first off, one thing, the picture that you sent on this for the, I think that if it can't be scanned into a point where we can actually read it,
Yeah.
because it's horrible quality, I can't make out anything. Luckily, I know
Yeah.
where this is.
Yeah.
So just please, if next time we can actually read the
Yep.
little notes.
Okay.
Second, I think that whoever, and I apologize if this was you, whoever drew the little park has made a parking lot for bicycles, because there is no way that 11 vehicles will fit into a parking lot there, plus have room for a fountain and bench. I know, like I go by there every day, there's maybe about, the entire length of it could fit maybe about 12 cars. And so now we've got half of it dedicated to 11 vehicles with an entranceway that is smaller, an entranceway that's supposed to fit in and out that is smaller than half the road. I just don't think this was actually made to scale. So I would like to defer, Mr. Mayor, until we actually have a better drawing and a knowledge of exactly where we're actually going to put what is being proposed here, because I don't think this is a scale.
I don't have any trouble deferring it and just reconfirming this. I was under the assumption that this was a site plan for that area and that it was accurate.
And I apologize if I'm wrong, I go by there and there's no way that that parking lot that fits, technically takes over half of that entire park land would fit 11 cars into half of there.
Is the work going to be done on time? We'll come back on August 9th.
Yeah.
No. I mean,
Will it be too late to do the work? Because it's
well, you're talking about the work like the fountain installation, the bench? No, I don't think so, but, you know, what we're recommending in the report is that it's more a decorative fountain than let's say, a functioning water type fountain here, because of the regular maintenance requirements. And I talked to Mr. Lavotoire about this, and I don't know if he's here this evening. Oh, sorry, I do. But, you know, what we're saying in this report is that, and I did have a chance to talk to the manufacturer of the fountain, and I was asking about, well, if we're having running water in it, then what's required for that? Well, first of all, you need an electrical service connection for the pump, and then you have to ensure continuous water flow in the bowl that gets pumped through. So if you get windy days and whatnot, and all of a sudden your water level goes down, they were recommending that every 2 days you need to have somebody go by and double check to make sure there's water in there, otherwise the pump burns out. And I guess the way I was looking at it is that's a fairly onerous maintenance requirement on the department. And I was saying maybe it's just as well if we use it as a decorative fountain and put the bench in. That's the recommendation you have before you.
I'd just like to mention to Councillor Zant, I've seen 21 cars that park in there before. So
20?
Yeah, and I go there quite often. In the summertime,
Okay.
up to 21.
We're
So
gonna
for
have some
11 cars,
underground.
there's plenty of space.
Speaking of,
I think here, there's a gesture on a resident to give something to the city.
Yeah.
If it's not to scale, I don't think it changes the fact that we should adopt it. I hear what you're saying about the maintenance, but I spoke to Mr. Campo about the project. There's a light pole that's gonna be installed there, so there'll be power very close by, and he's saying, even if we're not sure if we're gonna plug it or not, I think we should personally, because there's a splash pad about 250 meters where community service has to go and check if there's enough water all the time. They can just drive by and I'm not saying it's,
Yeah.
Monsieur Boucher looking at me funny, but that's okay. I don't think there's a problem with passing it to underground, maybe not wiring it for now, but at least I think we should adopt this. It's something that a family wants to give to the city as a token of their appreciation of the park and the way the city has been toward them. I think we should adopt it, and if it's only a matter of finding the place. According to the drawing, if you see the little curve in your little trail, there's a tree at the bottom of that little curve. The tree that's almost the furthest down, that's where the fountain would be, so it most likely replace a tree.
Anyways, Monsieur Leftoy told me he was gonna send Madame Leftoy to put water in it regularly.
No problem.
Okay.
Nobody mentioned that the Lalacroix family are paying for the bench.
Yeah.
They're paying for the fountain.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
C'est une
Yeah, the
donation.
bench, we will pay for the bench in the park,
Ouais.
the fountain.
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Yeah, I think we should approve that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're spending millions of dollars to renovate the
Yeah.
Central Street. This is our contribution.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a bad idea, and that's not what, I was just thinking that nothing, to me on here is to scale, so I'm
Yeah,
going,
we-
well,
We
there's,
can always move it around and fit it somewhere.
okay, well,
To me, I think that's the scale,
So
but
Goldie?
I'm not a scale guy.
You're talking about the parking. There was no parking last year and the previous year. And today, in the parking there was 10 cars, and it's only used half of it.
Yeah. There's 20 cars.
I counted the cars.
Yeah.
okay,
I went to check
that's
on.
fine.
Okay.
And I'd like to say thank you, it's
Ouais.
Yeah.
a very nice gesture, so thank you very
D'abord,
much.
votre part.
Merci. Merci.
Vous et Madame.
C'est moi qui ai fait le dessin. I did, and I gave it to Mr. Campbell. At that time, there was a fountain, and I said, I know this town doesn't have any money, so we will take off the fountain. Finally, speaking with our kids, they decided that we're gonna pay for everything, the fountain plus the bench.
Just so,
Merci
Vraiment
beaucoup.
apprécié.
just so everybody knows, that family runs the community hockey tournament every year,
Ouais.
and that truly makes a difference in our community, so I think it's awesome.
Ok, tout le monde en faveur? Merci.
Thank you.
Budget guideline report.
Merci, M. le
On va faire ce choix.
Oui, c'est ça. Non, bah oui, monsieur Boucher, il aime ça, lui.
Vous n'avez pas de plan, on les...
Que le rapport de numéro PIN 2017-014 soit reçu et que les lignes directives suivantes soient données au personnel relativement à l'augmentation du taux de taxe pour 2018.
Secondé. Secondé. M. Berlinguet. Question.
Oui, on dit 2018.
Pour l'année prochaine, pour savoir, avoir une idée quel taux qu'on veut monter.
La même chose que cette année.
Pardon?
La résolution n'est pas finie, il faut ajouter votre directive.
C'est ça.
C'est proposé.
C'est correct, vous pouvez discuter, mais à la fin, j'aurai besoin d'une directive
Oui.
pour la résolution. OK.
De ce que je peux lire, monsieur le maire, à la première appendix, ou je ne sais pas comment appeler ça en français, là. Je crois à l'appendice A, on a un petit chiffre en bas, là. Il nous dit que si on veut faire ce qu'on veut faire, on regarde à 7,96. Est-ce que c'est moi qui se trompe? Is that what I'm... The pressure for next year is that much?
Oui, monsieur le maire, on n'a pas fini toutes les assessments qu'on va avoir pour l'année suivante, en 2018. Mais si on applique 180 000 d'augmentation avec les pressions qu'on a, qui sont ils ont un sommaire dans Annexe L ou Annexe A. 1 432 000 de pression, c'est une augmentation de taxes de 7,96%. Dans le Annexe A, tu as le sommaire, M. le maire, puis Annexe B, tu as tous les détails de tous les montants par département.
Monsieur le maire, je trouve que c'est extrêmement élevé. Je ne sais pas s'il faut donner une directive ce soir, mais si on a besoin d'une directive, ils vont peut-être pas aimer la directive.
J'ai à peu près la même directive dans la tête.
Ouais.
On va vous donner une belle grosse efface, M. Guillaume et M. Frédéric. Et puis retourner au tableau, puis commencer à effacer. Parce que l'année prochaine, il ne faut pas oublier, vous avez 80 000 qui vont venir pour le dispatch que vous ne payez pas. Vous avez des montants de la province qui vont augmenter. Et puis, vous avez des coupures. J'ai aucune intention d'approuver 7,9. Je peux vous garantir ça. Si on regarde notre record dans les derniers 3 ans, on a monté de quoi, 4%? Alors,
2,46.
on va pas pour monter de 17%. Plus haut dans la dernière année qu'on a monté dans les dernières 3 années, que je peux vous garantir ça. Moi, je ne suis pas d'accord avec ça. Tu peux? Yes, Mme Coder.
So annually, we usually present you where the pressures that we have, and so we will work through the summer to work towards a guideline. Last year, you didn't give us a guideline, you just said bring back something better. So this year, if you have an idea of where you want the amount to be,
I think
you can give
maximum
us
2 for my personal opinion.
direction,
I was
we
going to say
will work on
between
it.
1 and 2. So
I'm sorry?
I was going to say between 1 and 2. Mr. Grimard says 2. So,
Keep it around 2, that's what I said.
Monsieur Balaguer.
Well, I think what Madam Coder is saying is, rather than just say do better, we need to sort of give you a guideline of what we need, where to spot what we need. So
That's what I'm saying.
I would recommend that we suggest that every director look to see, try to find cost-cutting measures in their department, either for layoffs, whatever it may be, but every director has to find ways to cut costs. And that's, I think we should give the city directors to look for that.
I like the way we did it last year.
Okay.
We started with an astronomical amount, and we dwindled it down based on projects and what we needed and what we thought we could delay and what we couldn't.
Okay.
And you know what? At the end, everybody somewhat agreed. And then we found we were at 2.46, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? And we started from a really high number. I think trying to tell you to say, I want 2%, it's up to us to make the decisions for what we want to do with that. That's just my opinion. So started at 7.96, bring everything you've got that you want to build with or buy with it, and let us make the decision and dwindled it down to the percentage we feel comfortable with.
But I think it adds if we give them a direction. I agree with what you're saying, but don't come to us with 7.96, come to them with 5. So I think what they want to know is they should start working already and presenting something that is lower than what they're showing now.
Correct. However, the number that Rob has, or Mr. Kehoe has, is based on the directors already giving him here is my plan for the next year, which they do every year. And then, so it's not necessarily up to him to just go back to directors and say, start cutting. It's up to us to actually look at exactly what that director, for example, Monsieur Boucher wants, and for us to tell him, here's what I want you to cut out of yours to get down to a...
Yes,
thing. So-
however, to use what he says all the time, I think we can direct the administration to look at already looking at their sheet and making some things of a less priority disappear. I think
I'll
it's
meet in the
very
middle.
healthy.
That's fine. Either way, I think it's up to us at the end to
Absolutely.
figure out.
Pretty sure we started at the same
I
level.
think it's déjà vu, we started at the same
Monsieur
number.
Lalonde, s'il vous plaît.
Ouais, monsieur
C'est
Lalonde.
ça.
Monsieur le maire, j'allais dire qu'actuellement, nos taxes sont déjà très élevées. Lorsqu'on a fait faire une enquête les 2 semaines passées, ça a démontré que pour une maison de 450 000 à Rutland, 26,9% plus haut que la taxe dans le secteur Orléans, en haut de la côte. J'ai les figures sur papier. Et puis là, comme c'est là, moi je dirais qu'il ne faudra pas dépasser l'augmentation du coût de la vie.
Moi, j'irais un peu plus que juste mentionner du 2%. Aucune nouvelle position, Mme Collier. Ça, ce serait ma recommandation. Parce qu'on fait juste ajouter des salaires. On a eu le settlement dernièrement. De façon consistante, l'augmentation de notre revenu de taxes annuel tourne alentour de 250-300 000 avec les évaluations des maisons. Mais notre masse salariale monte de plus que ça chaque année. Fait qu'on part déjà avec un déficit à chaque année. Fait qu'il faut, je pense que pour 2018, aucune nouvelle position. Ça, c'est ma recommandation.
Shakil?
Mr. Mayor, this is excellent comments, and encourage you to give us as much as you can, because we're taking notes. I just want to also point, Mr. Mayor, to another item that's on the agenda, and that's the asset management plan. That's a big part of how you need to be financing the city in the future. And when we talk about road issues, when we talk about infrastructure issues, they're going to continue unless council starts to put more money into it. Otherwise, we are going to be looking at borrowing more for it. So council has to be aware that if we don't put more money into infrastructure on an annual basis, we are going to have to borrow more and our debt's going to go up. So that's part of the asset management report that's also included on your agenda, and it also has pressure. We've identified in this report about $300,000 that we're suggesting to be put into infrastructure for the future, so into our roads, into our vehicles and equipment. So I just want to make sure that council is cognizant of the importance of the infrastructure funding.
One area we may want to cut, Mr. Mayor, is the consultant we have in planning. We don't seem to have enough work for all of those people in that department, the planning department. If I look at the last planning committee, all the reports, we had 3 reports, all the reports came from the consultant, none from our own staff. So maybe there's a way we can, because every year we seem to blow that budget. We have a $10,000 budget for that consultant every year, and we consistently blow it by at least 5-6 times that. So we need to use more of our internal resources as best we can. And
We have, what, 2 people? One's a junior, Malcolm is not.
Okay. If council wishes, we can bring a report back on the work that is done in the planning department, because there is a lot of work you're not going to see that arrives at the planning committee. So it's not a measure to look at actual number of reports on planning committee. And
well, it's a good indicator, you have to agree. I mean,
But
if you're
that's
talking about
development.
subdivisions, new subdivisions coming along, we have the report previous in the regular meeting about the Caron situation that was delayed and or forgotten. There's not too many other subdivisions going on. It's
I don't think it was
Currently-
forgotten, Monsieur Lalonde. There has been discussions and stuff on other big projects on Caron Street. There was meetings with the contractor a couple of times at least.
twice. No,
And so there's been a lot of time spent there too.
all I'm saying is that we have more people in that department than most municipalities do, and some municipalities that are doing more percentage-wise, more development. So we're looking at cost-saving measures. It's easy to cut off a consultant more than cutting off a permanent staff.
Yeah, but we're not working for just this year, Monsieur Lalonde.
No.
We're working for down the road too. And you can't compare our municipality to another municipality that has one with 10,000 people where we have 25,000 people.
I agree.
Mr. Mayor, I think we're starting to get into actual budget.
No, but we just need to look at, the departments need to look inward and say, okay, where are nice to haves and must haves for the rest of the year.
I think they get our
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Dark, you got something else?
No, other than we can provide council with an overview of all of the aspects, service-related matters that go on in the planning side of the department. And there's a significant workload. It's not just planning committee, committee of adjustment, pre-consultations, and so we'll list that and provide that to the council.
What kind of recommendation you want to make?
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, Mr. Mayor. I heard some comments around the table, and I've written them down, but they're not council's comments, they're individual councilors. So, is there such as, I heard no staff increases in the budget, is that a council direction?
Is that what you want?
J'aimerais proposer, Monsieur le maire, que l'administration commence les procédures de budget comme ils l'ont fait l'année dernière. Puis, ils n'ont pas besoin nécessairement d'avoir des notes et des recommandations, juste qu'ils savent qu'on veut rester sous un certain montant.
But Mr. Dallon proposed no new staff in 2018. Is that
But
one of
the
your
thing-
recommendations?
The thing is, though, is that it's hard for us to say no new staff when we haven't actually had a plan from the administration on, maybe perhaps they want to move some things around, maybe, you know, I just think it's premature to just say, I understand what you're going at, I get it. But it's not up to us until we have a plan from them to say, here's where our staffing plan is.
Just don't come to us with that 8% as your first,
Cut it in half. Start with
you know.
that.
Okay, start at, how about this, start at 5%, come to us, obviously, we're going to dwindle it down to under 2 or around, yeah, but, well, I said earlier, stick with the 7.9 and then let us dwindle it down to 2 or below 2.
Same thing.
There was nothing wrong with the way it happened last year, I have no problem with it. I thought it was actually one of the best budgets we've had.
You okay with that?
Yes.
Sharpen the pencil.
Mais il faut que ça vienne de vous.
We're,
Go back, do some cuts wherever you can and come back with resolution of, let's say, less than 5.
Less than 5%?
But
Or
that's-
less than?
Sorry, that's not what we
That's
just,
not.
C'est pour ça que je demande
My
que
apologies.
tout le monde
Okay.
comprenne.
Est-ce que je pourrais proposer quelque
Oui, donc.
chose? De mandater l'administration à prendre les démarches et faire leurs recherches sur qu'est-ce qu'il y aurait besoin pour un budget, nous le ramener dans le temps de commencer les discussions budgétaires et de laisser le conseil décider qu'est-ce qu'on va couper et combien.
Mais si les départements vont savoir où ils peuvent faire des coupures. Moi, j'aimerais mieux voir les départements décider une partie de leur coupure, puis après ça, venir à nous autres, puis qu'on décide si on veut descendre plus, là, regardez que les décisions ou les choses qui sont demandées.
I just don't think we did this last year, and there was nothing.
Well, we told the department to go back last year and decide where they can do some cuts.
But we did it at budget time.
Yeah, but they can decide, well, I can cut here, maybe I don't need this for this year, and then come back, and if they're still at 5 or 6, then we get the projects that want to go ahead, and we decide where to cut.
we can bring you a list of options.
Okay.
So what you're gonna see on that list, as Mr. Kehoe has explained, that included in the report are increases in the pay-as-you-go contributions. It's a significant part of that percentage increase that you're seeing, and some of it's salary. So we will go back and look at what the options are, and that's what we presented to you last year. So you still received the budget at 8%, and then you considered some of the options and had your own suggestions. So what we could, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I like that better because and I'll use Monsieur Boucher again. I'll go to Mr. Darch.
No.
Okay, we'll stick with Monsieur Boucher. Maybe Monsieur Boucher will actually sit there and want to cut certain things off his list that he says, well, maybe it's just not that big of a deal for now.
Exactly.
But we might have a different idea on that. We might say, actually, I like that one better. Maybe you can look at cutting this.
Why do you pay a director to run the department?
Well, he's running it. All we're doing is actually looking at the options that he would like us to consider. That's the whole point of a budget process. Maybe I'm getting this all wrong. I don't know. I'll let it go. Somebody do something.
How about bringing us back? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, just on that point, we would never cut a standard that the residents are expected that have right now. We would look at our operations for efficiencies, and we always do that. So if there's a more efficient way of doing it, we will be reducing our budgets, but we will not be reducing as council standards. Those are the purview of council.
Okay. So,
Let it, the report sit as
Yep.
it is
So,
and bring back on.
we do need agreement on the timeline. So it'll be mid-November that the budget would get approved, because we had a lot of discussion about that last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and if you can look at, have you looked at the dates to make sure that those dates are solid? Because we're gonna put them in the calendar.
Where is it? I didn't even notice dates.
Yeah, that's good.
We said which appendix.
Where are the dates in the report though? 'Cause-
I didn't
The
notice.
first PDF.
oh, okay.
No, they're the last page of the report.
So some-
We just wanna ensure that everyone can be in attendance, because
So we do this on the
Oh, I'm
weekend too
gonna
this
ask
year,
that
right?
question.
11/12? 11/12 is the weekend, it's Saturday, Sunday.
No?
Well, that's what I got, November 2017.
This owns dues, say.
why don't we just, like Sean was saying, accept the proposed 2017 budget timetable? August, we come back with operating budget workshop with the session.
We can always change it then.
Yeah.
So
11
let's
and
just
12
approve.
for Saturday.
Capital
is-
budget
So is
workshop,
18 and 19.
September.
So Saturday, Sunday, 18th, 19th as well. There's
That's
just,
key.
I don't mind going, coming in on the weekends, I'm just stating that it is on
We will
weekends.
come
We'll
back
bring
with a
back with
revised
new dates.
calendar. My admin assistant did not review my calendar.
Obviously she did.
Because he's got
You
sense
didn't know.
games.
It changes every week, Mr.
No, he plays,
We never know what you're gonna have.
he plays golf during the week, so he can work on weekends.
So,
Okay.
Assumption that it's a woman, eh?
Uh-huh.
I got that.
Well, he
too.
doesn't have,
we go by the proposed 2017 budget timetable. That's what we're.
well, then we have to bring back new dates, because there was
Well,
an
then-
error, I believe they were looking at the wrong year.
Tous les samedis, dimanches.
En novembre, OK. Tous les dimanches.
C'est ça, samedi, dimanche. Elle ne regarde pas, là, mais c'est...
Faut manquer la messe, là.
c'est-
As
c'est
I had
ça.
to do as I had to do last year, I had to send you new dates by email, that's what I'll do, we'll approve them on the 9th.
Well, if your director of finance knew how to read his calendar.
The important thing is he knows how to read his calculations. Okay.
On peut juste accepter le rapport tel quel. Parce que je change n'importe quoi. OK.
On accepte le rapport.
OK.
Comment c'est tard?
C'est accepté.
C'est accepté.
Il n'y a pas de directive.
Non.
Pas yet.
Accepte, oui.
Il n'y a pas de directive?
Non.
No.
Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Accident de gestion actif, des actifs. Plus la langue.
Que le rapport PIN 2017-044 concernant le programme de gestion d'actifs coopératifs soit reçu et que ce rapport soit ajouté à l'ordre du jour de la réunion du comité plénière du 2 août. Ça va être le 9 août, là?
Oui. Oui.
9 août 2017 pour fin de discussion dans le but d'être considéré pour l'adoption du Conseil du 21 août 2017.
Secondaire. M. Levert. Question? Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Conception de nouvelles. Yes.
I just wanted to extend a great amount of gratitude to Julian Lenhart, who sat here this evening in case you had questions. I warned him ahead of time that it was going to be a late night and that there might not be questions and to not be insulted. He spent many, many hours preparing the information that you've got in your report, and you will be seeing a 10-year capital plan in August or early September at our budget review to start getting our heads around about the future. And all of this has been based on many, many hours of work, so I just wanted to thank
Yeah.
Julian for that work.
Thanks, Julie.
And Dave's guidance.
There's no questions, Mr. Mayor, because there's no names of roads.
Exactly.
Conception de nouvelle enseigne municipale.
Le rapport numéro INF 2017-041 soit reçu à titre d'information.
Mais est-ce qu'on n'a pas un choix à faire là-dedans?
Oui.
Non.
Même pas le même.
Éventuellement.
J'aurais une question seulement.
Ah oui, non, monsieur, madame.
À l'entrée des soit Saint-Pascal ou Bourgette, y a-t-il une enseigne qui dit Bourgette, puis en bas c'est municipalité Clarence Rockland?
Ça dit juste Bourgette.
Non, non.
Oh oui, on a un, ça dit bienvenue à Saint-Pascal.
Ouais.
Oui, ça dit pas Clarence, oui, il y a l'emblème de Clarence Franklin.
Il y a le logo de la ville.
Mais ça devrait dire Cité de Clarence Rockland, secteur Saint-Pascal,
C'est ça.
secteur.
C'est ça.
Mais les nouvelles annonces ne disent pas le secteur.
Mais Ottawa, c'est un peu différent, c'est Orléans puis les grands bois.
Oui, mais celle-ci, si tu regardes la C, par exemple, le bout en bas, ils ont la
Ok,
place
ouais.
pour mettre
I guess this sign thing is yours, eh, again, Mr. Darks. God, you're a lucky guy, tonight you're getting them all. Will there be like a village name in this sign somewhere?
Like a sector.
Clarence Rockland is there?
Yeah, we would, I guess we've identified the locations in the report.
Yes.
I guess what this report is, it's for your information, but, you know, we can do about 8 signs with that.
Yeah.
So we'd customize the signage in accordance with the design here, put in the name of the village and whatnot.
That's the difference, though, there's many designs, we're not actually picking any of them. so-
Not yet.
No.
But
So it's coming back,
It's
okay.
coming back.
You
Yeah.
agreed to a committee to choose
But
them.
when
Okay,
you
that's
drive
the
in
answer.
at
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Saint-Pascal, for example, is it going to mark Saint-Pascal, Cité Clarence Rockland at the bottom?
If you look at the C,
That's what
Yeah.
we see at other places.
Yes.
Yeah.
if you look
That was
at
the
The name
concept.
of the
Yeah.
village or
The
whatever
former
you call it.
village, yeah.
Hamlet.
Yep.
It depends. In Gatineau, it all says Gatineau, secteur Odd.
Ah, si, il y a rien, c'est écrit City Clarence Rock.
Monsieur Levert,
If you look at PDFC, you'll see Clarence Rockland compared to the other ones. Then you'll see in the bottom, there's a box there, and that's actually to put the village name.
Except that one has our website on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put that on.
ça l'est fait.
Ah, j'ai jamais oublié, moi, quand Gabriel Pajot, il venait à l'école. On sort de l'école, et il dit, c'est à Clarence ou à Rockland qu'on pratique?
Yeah, I just canceled the call.
Monsieur Boucher,
Oui, sur les enseignes majeures, ce que M. Levert vient de dire, l'enseigne qu'il y a en dessous, notre enseigne de village ou de la cité Clarence Rockland, ce sont des enseignes pour les activités à venir ou pour ce qui va se passer dans exemple, le carnaval de Saint-Pascal. À l'entrée, on pourrait avoir en dessous de notre enseigne principale comme ça. Ça a l'air plus professionnel d'avoir plusieurs enseignes différentes. L'enseigne plus basse, ça serait ce genre d'enseigne.
qu'on veut
C'est
dire, c'est-
à mobile qu'on pourrait changer à chaque.
Ce qu'on veut dire, c'est que dans les villages, on veut que les villages soient représentés, qu'on sache qu'on est à Clarence Rockland, mais qu'on rentre dans un secteur Saint-Pascal, Chénéan. Roger.
Entièrement d'accord.
C'est bon.
OK, tout le monde en faveur?
Oui.
Merci. Le rapport de l'arrêté de Jean-Marc Lalonde. Monsieur André Lalonde.
On laisse
Ouais.
monsieur Lalonde lire ça.
Ah, vous voyez pas, mais bon, monsieur.
Conflit. Le rapport d'évaluation des bâtiments pour l'aréna Jean-Marc Lalonde et le garage des services communautaires daté du 14 juin 2017 soit reçu.
C'est seulement pour votre information. C'est pour ça que M.
Il
Boucher
s'agit
nous
de
a donné ça.
regarder maintenant.
Est-ce qu'il y a des questions?
Ben, je l'ai lu un peu, on sent vraiment quand même, je sais que c'est à titre d'info, là, mais la firme qui a fait l'étude semble vraiment nous diriger vers une certaine option. Alors, je ne sais pas si on fait juste le recevoir. Je trouve que ça fait longtemps qu'on veut ranimer cet édifice-là, donner une nouvelle vie. Est-ce qu'on fait juste le recevoir? Et si oui, ben quand est-ce qu'on va en reparler? Moi, j'ai lu la...
Au mois d'août, à la régulière.
Alors, vous nous dites que là, on fait juste le recevoir, on n'en parle pas pour au mois d'août, il va falloir prendre une décision.
Comité plénière.
Ou est-ce qu'on le ramène à la plénière? Je pense que
Ça
c'est
va être dans-
Ça va
la
venir à
plénière.
plénière.
Oui.
Bon.
Et comme c'est là, vous avez le rapport. M. Boucher s'est arrangé, vous m'envoyez voir M. Boucher.
Est-ce que je peux ajouter ce qu'on fait, comme c'est là, on vous donne 6 semaines de lecture pour cet été, en vos bronzages. Vous allez pouvoir prendre connaissance du rapport au complet. Et puis nous, à le retour au mois de 9 août, on va faire la présentation et les recommandations à ce moment-là. Par contre, si le Conseil va nous diriger dans une autre option, c'est au plénier du mois d'août que vous allez pouvoir me donner une autre directive si c'est le vœu du Conseil.
Monsieur le maire, je voudrais juste dire qu'on doit prendre en considération que c'est un édifice au centre de la ville. Ce qu'ils ont fait à Hawkesbury, c'est l'idéal qu'on arrête de voir. Parce que, rappelez-vous, pour aller à la 400 à Hockey Academy, là, quand il va y avoir un 4 voies, là, actuellement, les personnes se demandent si on pourrait marcher jusque-là, ils ont peur. Et puis, au centre ici, il y a l'école de là qui s'en sert, comme c'est là. Rockland grandit, on est en plein centre, ils n'ont pas besoin d'auto, de transport pour se rendre là-bas. Puis ce qu'ils ont fait à Hawkesbury avec la deuxième date, c'est l'idéal.
N'oubliez pas qu'on a un choix aussi de faire l'entrée pour l'aréna à Coron, qui sauverait une lumière de tout qui est là.
Une entrée pour un aréna.
L'aréna CIH, on peut rentrer par Coron pour aller là.
Oui, ça se rend déjà, c'est ton choix.
Ouais.
Non,
On va-tu
il y a
faire?
Ça, c'est une arrêt.
Ah oui, c'est
I'm just saying, it's an exit only.
Il y a quand même un schmicking, c'est ça?
Oui.
OK.
Tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Stratégie échéancier pour l'implémentation du plan directeur du service des incendies. Monsieur Grimard.
Que le rapport numéro 2017-013 au sujet du plan directeur du service des incendies 2017 soit reçu et que le directeur des services de la protection soit mandaté à commencer la mise en œuvre du plan directeur du service des incendies 2017 conformément à la stratégie de mise en œuvre énoncée dans le rapport numéro Pro 2017-013 et aussi que les recommandations énoncées dans le rapport Pro 2017-013 qui identifient une exigence de financement soit sujet à l'approbation du Conseil au cours du processus budgétaire de 2018 pour une mise en œuvre au cours de l'année civile 2018.
Secondé. Question.
Je ramène encore mon point. L'agenda, si tout le monde ça c'est correct, puis là, on va reparler du plan directeur de service d'incendie. J'essaie juste de comprendre la séquence des événements. Je suis peut-être le seul qui la comprend pas.
Mr. Wilson, can you explain this resolution in your own words so that we see if we're all on the same line?
The way the resolution is currently worded is that you guys understand anyway the detail of the report that's put out, including the recommendations for all 46 items, 44 of which remain outstanding for the fire service master plan. And then you're providing direction to us to move forwards with what we proposed. My understanding is that I think you would like more information on these, and that you would provide direction to come back at a separate meeting and have discussion on these items on a sort of individual basis, or how we want to do that, so you can get better understanding on the content of the fire service master plan as it pertains to each of those recommendations. The current resolution, if passed tonight, would provide me direction to move forwards with the contents of what's in the report, and I think you may want to have more time on that.
But don't you agree at the present time, like Councilor Grimard said, the 10-1 should come first before we do the other one?
Okay. Penny's dropped now. Okay. So, what I was trying to explain earlier is we are presenting this report, we're giving it to you ahead of time to receive as information. So maybe the resolution's not written properly, it should be.
That's not what it says in the resolution,
Okay.
correct?
So you need to receive it tonight.
Because we're giving him the go ahead and
No.
start, well, according to this resolution, I could be wrong.
Yeah,
And maybe it's
no.
not worded right, but I don't feel comfortable giving him the authority because we still need to talk a lot more about this plan.
Okay, so.
That's how I feel, I could be the only one.
I am.
So it was always Mr. Wilson's intention of mine that we would deposit it with you on June 19th. And if you go back to when we first talked about this May 1st, that's what we told you, we would bring to you our recommendations to each of the items. So my apologies if the resolution's not worded properly. Now I understand the confusion. So we definitely need to have the special meeting to discuss the items because we need you to understand what we're doing. Because this is essentially Mr. Wilson's work plan for the next 3 to 5 years. And there's budget implications with a number of these items, and we need to know what you want us to include in the budget and what not to include. So
And
it's
also
never
the-
our intention to get you to approve it tonight and then discuss it.
Correct. So,
Okay.
because his vision of his priorities might be different than ours as far as budget and items too,
With
right?
budget and timing,
Correct.
you know, and priority. And that's what we need guidance on, because if,
So, Mr. Mayor, I recommend that we modify this resolution to
Yes.
say that we receive the report and that we will have subsequent special meeting to discuss the
Correct.
recommendation and set a priority.
To be set in a later date.
Correct.
Correct. And I believe that the
Receive
resolution
the report.
was written with the intention of going with the report to approve it. Am I, yeah. But it was never our intention, if you go back to what I presented you May 1st, you'll see that our intention was to give it to you
Yep.
June
Got it.
19th, and then we have this debate.
Okay.
Okay, so the date. Sorry,
You want to set the date down?
while I was rushing things, you have to vote on that resolution.
Okay,
Of the
resolution.
report be received.
Receive the report.
Okay.
Comment vous voulez ça? Vous
Je
avez voté?
suis content, secondé par monsieur Zan, monsieur Lalonde.
Levert.
Ah, Levert.
C'est déjà fait.
Okay, tout le monde en faveur? Merci. Now, you want to set a date now, or do we do
Yes.
it later? What
If
date?
it's possible to set a date now, we had discussed in the previous council meeting a date of August 2nd. However, myself and the Director of Protective Services already have planned
Mr.
vacation
Wilson's
that
going
week.
cottaging.
Assuming I'm not recalled for something else.
And our clerk is also off that week to schedule vacation. And we have enough challenges taking vacation, so I would like to respectfully suggest August 10th, which is the Thursday after,
The meeting.
did that work?
It's the night after the meeting.
That didn't work for you.
Which meeting?
No, we're gonna
Our
go to
regular meeting
Monday,
is on the 9th.
the 16th of August.
14th?
14th is a Monday, 14th of
August
August.
14th?
August 14th.
That is a Monday, that's not a council meeting. It's the first council meeting is 9th. Yeah, but it's here.
The AMO's then. AMO.
April.
But, yeah, I know.
Oh, who's going to ammo?
Well, yeah.
If you think you might be at night.
Andreas.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
And what, the 10th didn't work?
Well, it's only because Mr. Wilson's enrolled in a course.
Okay, then,
So could we go to the Wednesday of April, because there's usually nothing on the Wednesday night.
Yeah.
The
Wednesday
16th?
night would be
So
fine.
9 plus 7,
That's the
16.
last night, so.
Or we
What?
thought 28th
can
June.
we do this?
16 est bon. hein.
Oh,
Wait.
I forgot that.
Can we do the 17th instead?
La première réunion.
No, maybe it just doesn't count. What about the 17th, Helen, the
It's
Thursday?
gonna be a heavy night on August 4th.
9, yes.
Yes.
You've already moved a bunch of things now. My list is as long as tonight.
So,
And
either
the other
August
option-
16th, it's the Wednesday
It's
night,
the
we no
16th.
problem.
Or we go next week.
I'm fine with the 16th.
Do we have aménagement in the month of August?
Yeah.
Yes,
When?
it's the first week of August, it's the second.
Okay.
So the 16th.
Everybody okay with August 16th?
Yeah.
There we go. We have a date.
Okay, there's a resolution, so Wednesday, August. Les deux Fire Master Plan et Fire Stations, ce soir-là.
Well, we might as well discuss both of them. Proposé par M. Zant,
What we'll do is,
secondé par Mme Simard.
we'll send a reminder to you, because maybe just to reread the report so we can advance, so we're ready. Because they're both big items to get through.
So then a special meeting be held at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, August 16, 2007, in order to discuss the Fire Master Plan and the fire stations.
Yes. Tout le monde en faveur? Oui. Merci. Merci. Un jour demain, 10 heures de veille.